Hey guys, I'm just Jershin, and welcome back to Season 3 of PokeMarch Madness. The theme of this year's PokeMarch Madness, of course, is characters. We've done 4 brackets thus far. I think we have 11 total. One of them's kind of a meme bracket, so we'll say 10 total, plus a little bonus episode. So we are nearing, today will be the halfway point, kind of. So far we've done Pokemon Rivals, Pokemon Champions, Pokemon Moms, which was an interesting video, and we have done Pokemon Evil Teams. Today, coming right off the tail end of the Pokemon Evil Teams, we have kind of a connected episode for you today, but bam! Last time we did the teams themselves, today we are going to do the villains in particular. Some of these guys are the leaders of those evil teams that we touched on last time. Some of them are henchmen on the evil team, some of them are just random bad people. And we are going to be ranking them today. Now, as I said, this year I've been attempting to be more objective than in years past with my rankings. Though I will say, as I've been editing some of the first episodes thus far, namely I just got done editing the Champions episode, and I'm quickly realizing I know nothing about Pokemon. I can't remember what the water type is. I can't tell you a single member of this man's team. I don't think you have a Druddigan. Why can't I remember? It's always the 5th one that I can't remember. I'm sad that I can't remember his 5th Pokemon. I don't remember a lot of the rest of his team. If I truly want to be more objective, then I need to do a little bit more research. I was editing that video, and the video was like, I think this guy's team kind of stinks. And then I Googled it, and I was like, what the heck? He's got like 10 megas. Just kidding. But basically, my knowledge of some of these characters has depreciated over time. So I did, before this episode, give myself a quick little plot reminder of some of these characters. Specifically, there's some games that I've just played a lot less, so I don't know them as well. And I think I'm also going to attempt to simplify the metrics today. So rather than trying to remember all of these guys' teams, their battles, especially when you get into the fact some of them appear in multiple games and they have different teams in different games, so I get all my wires crossed. We're gonna keep it simple today. Pokemon villains. Evil. Metric number 1. How evil are these people? I took 2 psych classes in college. I was originally gonna get a psych minor until I realized that I didn't want to do the work. So I'm not uniquely qualified to judge the true moral character of someone, but we're gonna pretend like I am for today. Can you be an effective villain without being 100% evil? I mean, not really. It's kind of like the root word of the word villain. So I think, in general, the more truly despicable and evil a character, the better a villain they make. And 2, I was going to say how effective are they in executing their evil plan, but I think none of them are, because otherwise you wouldn't have a game. The good guy always wins in the Pokemon universe. So rather than saying how effective are they in executing their evil plan, I'm going to take a look at just, does their evil plan even make sense? Because I think in a lot of these cases, it doesn't. And those are going to be my 2 metrics for judging the villains of the Pokemon universe. How truly evil are they? And does their evil plan make any dang sense? Okay, we are starting. Giovanni gets a bye. Giovanni, the big bad from the very first games. Congratulations, maybe a little bit of nostalgia. You have been presented with a bye. Oh, a couple more things. NSL, Yeetus, both going to be doing this bracket. Links in the description below. You can check them out. If you would like to fill it out yourself, you can also do that. Link in the description below. And finally, as I've said in some of the previous brackets, some of these characters may appear in other brackets as well. N, for example, has been in Champions, Rivals. Some of them may appear in multiple places. But in this bracket, I'm only considering them as the villain. I'm not considering the rest of their character development, their character arc, whatever. I'm looking at them as a villain and the 2 metrics that I mentioned. Chairman Rose versus Cyrus, our first matchup right here. Chairman Rose, the quote-unquote villain in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Cyrus in Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Rose is, on a scale of evil, you gotta give it to Cyrus here. Cyrus is truly terrifying. He is essentially just like a complete sociopath. He says it over and over in the games, and he is not kidding. He has stripped all emotion away from his being because he's afraid that any emotion, any human attachment's gonna get in the way of him reaching his ultimate goal. What is his ultimate goal, by the way? Summoning the gods of space and time, destroying the entire universe as we know it, and creating a brand new universe that he can be the god of. By comparison, Rose is just looking for an alternative energy source for the future of Galar, which is like kind of a noble cause. I would say he's got like he's looking forward to the future. He's like, we're gonna have an energy crisis in 1,000 years. We need some sustainable energy. Now, his methods are not great. Some would even call them sketchy. Summoning Eternatus, who caused the quote-unquote darkest day way back 3,000 years ago that nearly ended all life on planet Earth. Maybe not the best way to go about it, but I don't think he's evil at his core. And his plan doesn't make sense. So therefore I can't really call him a villain. Cyrus, on the other hand, Cyrus is a bad dude. So we're gonna give it to Cyrus here. Next we have Ghetsis and Lysander. Ghetsis is the villain in Black and White and Black and White 2. He's maybe the only villain that actually gets to be the villain in multiple games. Now in Black and White, he kind of is the villain from the shadows. He kind of is puppeting N the entire time, as N is the true king of Team Plasma. And even throughout the game, they try to make it seem like Team Plasma has, you know, noble causes. They're just nice people trying to help free Pokemon from evil Pokemon trainers. It's not until the very end of the game that they do the old bait and switch on you, and you find out he was actually just trying to get people's Pokemon away from them so that he could rule them more easily. Very evil. And then in Pokemon Black and White 2, same thing. He just wants to rule everything, and his method for doing so is to reawaken Kyurem, fuse it with either Reshiram or Zekrom, and freeze the entirety of Unova. Pretty dang evil. And I will say he actually, again, they can't succeed because the protagonist always has to succeed. Good always triumphs evil in Pokemon. He gets pretty dang he completely freezes one town in Black and White 2, and it's not until the very end of the game in Black and White when you defeat N after they freaking destroy the Elite Four that he finally admits defeat. I think he is truly, of the villains, he is probably one of the most, if not the most evil. And he's actually fairly successful in his plans, which means they must be pretty well thought out. Lysander, on the other hand, is kind of a mixed bag. I think they attempted to do the similar bait and switch here, because they don't reveal until like towards the end of the game that, oh, I'm actually in charge of Team Flare. Though it's fairly obvious when you dress that way. Everybody in Team Flare has bright neon orange hair, and so does Lysander. Who could have seen the connection possibly? It didn't really work very well, so I don't think his reveal was done nearly as good as Ghetsis'. Now, in terms of his evilness, kind of a mixed bag yet again. He says that he wants to create, he's like Thanos on steroids. He wants to create a more beautiful world. He's been convinced that human beings are evil, which, you know, he's not wrong. And so to create a more beautiful world, he will reawaken Xerneas or Yveltal, use them to recreate the ultimate weapon, and destroy all life on planet Earth. I guess, I don't know if they specify, but I'm assuming that means not including him, because I mean, it's truly a noble cause. If you think all humanity, including yourself, is so bad that you're just like, yeet the whole planet. It's just a little confusing though, because if you destroy all life on planet Earth, then what is there after to enjoy the beauty? I don't really get Team Flare. I don't really get what he was going for. The stakes are high, don't get me wrong. I'm summoning a god weapon that'll just blast all life on planet Earth. That's pretty bad. That's like maybe even more terrifying. Ghetsis just wants to rule everything. He's gonna let you live. He's just gonna rule over you. Lysander's gonna wipe you out. Unfortunately, I just don't really get it. Maybe it's because I've played Pokemon X and Y the least, but I think that seems to be a consistent understanding of Lysander. Is somewhere in there he got his wires crossed. His plan don't make a whole lot of sense, and wiping out the entire planet to make things more beautiful is just kind of a weird goal. So while he may be more evil and the stakes may be higher, I think Ghetsis is a better villain overall. Next we have Guzma and Maxie. Now Guzma is the leader of Team Skull, and as I said in the Evil Teams video, Team Skull it's just a band of hooligans. It's not even just some outcasts that cause petty crimes just for fun. They're not even really like the big bad or the higher stakes bad of Pokemon Sun and Moon. So as the leader of that team, I can't put a whole lot of credit on his name. Now, he does pair up with the Aether Foundation later in the storyline, and he kind of works almost as their enforcer. But I gotta give more credit to Lucamine and the Aether Foundation for just using him as a puppet. As a puppet himself, it seems like he didn't really have a plan. He was just going along with someone else's plan. And at his core, I don't think he's really like an evil dude. He's kind of been like mistreated by people and by the world in general, and I think he fell into some bad times, but I think deep down he's not that bad a guy. So while he may serve as like a bad guy role, I think he's your stereotypical, like, he's not really a bad guy. He just kind of looks like one. Now, Maxie is a bad guy. He falls into he is evil, though he has kind of I put him at like 50% on the evil scale. He's evil, but he at least has a change of heart and sees the error of his ways by the end of the game. Mostly because his ways were stupid. The reason I put that second metric on there does your plan make sense? I talked about it in the last episode. I don't really get Team Aqua or Team Magma what they think they were doing. Maxie's goal as the leader of Team Magma is to cover the entire Earth in land, get rid of all of the water. That doesn't seem very well thought out. Over the course of the game, he just straight up grabs the wrong orb. Ooh, I need to summon the red Pokemon. I will grab the blue orb. Yes, maybe he could have done a little bit more research there. And then he's shocked when he can't control Groudon. And then when Groudon does the thing that he wanted it to do, create harsh sunlight to get rid of all the water, he seems shocked. So I don't really get his motivation. However, he's more evil than Guzma. I think they both don't have great plans. I'm gonna give it to Maxie here. Next we have N and Archer. I'm gonna be honest with you, I had to look up who Archer was, which I think is a testament to how horrible a villain he is. Archer is the fill-in villain, look at that rhyme, for Giovanni. Giovanni is the leader of Team Rocket in Red and Blue. Team Rocket's still the bad guys in Johto, so Archer fills in as their leader. What is his main goal? What is his true evil goal? As the leader of Team Rocket, should try to get Giovanni back. He comes up with no plan himself, no plan to further Giovanni's causes, to further Team Rocket's causes. His goal is to play hot potato and try to get Giovanni back. He's like, I can't do this. I'm way out of my league here. Let's bring the head honcho back. And that's his whole goal. That's pretty much all he does. He takes over the radio station, tries to put out a call for Giovanni. Giovanni doesn't answer. That's the end of Archer. For that and that alone, I'm gonna have to give it to N, even though I don't think N's evil at all. He's very like Guzma. First of all, abandoned as a child, raised by Pokemon. Yes, I looked all of this up just to make sure. Ghetsis lies to him. This is evil, by the way. Lies to him. Tells N that he is his father, which he is not. Raises him, taints his mind as he's growing up by showing him all the horrible things that people have done to Pokemon that turn him into this, like, what do you want to call it? An empath. They're a Pokemon empath, if that's what you want to call it. So I don't think his goals are evil whatsoever. He, just like most of the people in the game, were simply tricked by Ghetsis into believing that Team Plasma was actually trying to do good things, so I think he's more a victim of circumstance than everything. I don't think he's evil. They do some sketchy things, but he thinks it's all in the pursuit of freeing Pokemon because human beings are so evil. But as part of Team Plasma, he does have a dang good plan, but I think Ghetsis is up there puppeting the strings up at the top, so Archer sucks, so I'm going to give it to N, but it's a pretty weak villain, if you will. Great character, not a great villain. Lucamine and Piers. Piers also not a great villain. Again, he is the leader of Team Yell. Team Yell is the bad team in Pokemon Sword and Shield, but especially compared to some of these world enders on this list here, small potatoes. Team Yell's doing absolutely nothing. They basically exist to cheer on Marnie, who is Piers' younger sister. If you think about that as his evil plan, it's actually adorable. He created like a squad of goons to go out and get in other trainers' ways so that Marnie could excel to the top. Do they do some sketchy things here and there? Sure. Sometimes they like yell really loudly at Pokemon or at people, but at the end of the day, it's pretty small potatoes, especially compared to Lucamine, who is just like a super heartless, evil mommy. Sorry, that was a different tier list. A super heartless, evil woman. First of all, little to no care. The Aether Foundation is very interesting. It's a switcheroo done right. Although Pokemon had done it so many times that as soon as I walked into the Aether Foundation in Sun and Moon, I was like, They're evil. I think we may have even played it on YouTube, but I'm sure you can go back and watch it. And I'm sure the first time I interacted with them, I was like, these guys are evil. There's something spooky here, guys. I don't know if you agree with me. Something's not right. Because it's something that Pokemon's done before, but still, I think nicely done. It's pretty clear that she has some ulterior motives. I think the consensus among the fandom is that she was driven insane because her husband got lost in Ultra Space, so she became obsessed. So obsessed with re-finding her husband that she wanted to get in touch with the Ultra Beast so that she could explore Ultra Space and try to find her husband again. Not the most evil plan. I can't get behind the plan because in doing so, she shuns basically all the rest of humanity, including her 2 own children. Not a mother of the year, that's for sure. She basically throws all of them aside to pursue finding her husband. But like, I get it, but you can't just like abandon the children. And she's like basically willing to sacrifice everybody else's life on planet Earth. Now, she only gets even more evil after Nihilego, the poison Ultra Beast, toxins get in her and she goes truly crazy. But I won't hold that against her because she was kind of under the control of something else there, so. But she's definitely more evil than Piers. Similarly, Gladion, who kind of is just originally a henchman for Aether Foundation until he realizes that his mom's crazy. And then he leaves, and then he works as a henchman for Team Skull, and then he realizes that they're crazy, and then he ends up joining the good guys at the end. So he has like a full redemption arc. He's a villain for some time, which I think makes him a really good rival. But he has a redemption arc towards the end, so I'm gonna have to give it to Archie, just a default here. Also, Archie, of all of the villain designs, Archie is clean, dude. I would love to... Never mind. Archie, much similar to Maxie, wants to cover, well, the exact opposite of Maxie, actually, wants to cover the entire world in ocean, in water. It's less dastardly. Human beings could theoretically still live if the... Well, no, it'd be pretty dang tough, honestly. I think they both don't really... They loved the idea of putting the land versus the sea against each other, and they were like, just make the evil teams. That's what they do. We're gonna have 2 evil teams. That's what they do. Don't think too much about it. I know both of them would basically spell the end of humanity. Don't think too much about it. Misguided. 50% evil, again, I will say. They both have changed. They're the same character, just flipped, which is an issue I have with Gen 3 story in general, but you're meaner than Gladion, so I will give it to you. Finally, we have Oleana and Colress. Oleana, whose name I'm probably butchering, apologies, really just exists as Chairman Rose's henchwoman, and even towards the end of the game, I'm pretty sure she goes, pleading to the trainer to go stop Chairman Rose because she realizes that the plan has gone too far. She's an enforcer more than anything else. I don't hold that against her too much. Colress, also, I don't think like a natively evil guy. He's kind of like Lucamine in the sense that he just puts science above everything else. His goal is to pull out the potential of all Pokemon, and he's going to do whatever it takes in his power to pull that potential out. Doesn't matter how many people he stomps on. He even joins Team Plasma, who he clearly doesn't agree with, just because it means it's going to further his scientific causes. I think he thinks his ambitions are noble because he truly loves the science, but he aligns himself with some sketchy folk and does some sketchy things because of it, but he's more of a villain than Oleana. Okay, that's everybody except Giovanni. Cyrus, we've already talked about. Truly terrifying, except for in Pokemon BDSP when they made him in chibi form, and he just looks like he's got this evil face, but he looks like you could just drop kick him if you wanted to. Giovanni, the true big bad of Team Rocket, is just your stereotypical mob boss. They were simpler times. It was the 90s. We didn't have to think about ending the world or anything crazy like that. His was as simple as, hey, I'm the Mafia. I want to own every rare Pokemon. I'm going to build up a Mafia, and they're going to go steal everybody's Pokemon so I can have them all. It's simple, but effective. And it's very evil. It is very, very evil. I will give this to you, Giovanni. You did a dang good job. I think he's generally pretty unfeeling. These 2 guys don't show a lot of emotion. Both of their plans, pretty dang evil and pretty effective. A lot of Pokemon get stolen here. Cyrus summons Dialga or Palkia, And even in ends up in the distortion world in Pokemon Platinum, they both get really far in their plans until the hero comes in at the very end to stop them. Who am I more terrified of? It's gotta be Cyrus. Basically just because his ambitions are higher than Giovanni's. I think these are close to the same character. Cyrus just has the evil cranked up maybe like 10% more, or his sights are set a little bit higher. That's a little scarier. Maxie, you barely made it through the first round. We're giving this one to Getsis for all the reasons I mentioned before. And Lusamine, again, I don't think N's a bad guy, so I'm gonna give it to Lusamine here. Archie, Colress, I don't necessarily think either of these are horrible guys. Colress is at least a little smarter with his plans. I really just hate the Gen 3 evil team plans because they don't make any sense. Colress, while maybe not as evil as Archie, possibly, I think his plan is a little more effectively put together. He's a smart dude. He knows what he's doing, and sometimes it's smartness that's a little scary. Now, let's do the right side first, because I'm going to be honest, Cyrus and Getsis, probably my top 2. And Giovanni may be close in 3rd. So these guys are kind of playing for the consolation prize here. Lusamine versus Colress. Lusamine versus Colress. My gut is telling me that Lusamine is more evil. These are villains. Who is more evil? I think they both have semi-effective plans. Colress definitely, I mean, he's a dang scientist. He's a little smarter, more calculated with his plan. But in terms of, like, he's just trying to find, he discovers Mega Evolution. He's just trying to figure out the potential within Pokemon. She is willing to destroy everything. So I'm going to give it to Lusamine here. Getsis versus Cyrus. Again, Getsis gets a little bit of an advantage here because he was in 2 games. He was the villain of Pokemon Black and White and Pokemon Black 2 White 2. Both of them very much feel like they want to take over the world. In Cyrus's case, it's to summon the gods of space and time and to create an entire new universe that he can rule over as it's basically its god. And Getsis simply wants to strip Pokemon away from people so that they're more easy to control, but at the end of the day, he wants to take over. Man, Pokemon Black and White had a really good storyline. I gotta replay that. Okay, this was tough. Again, I think Giovanni is probably my 3rd. Sorry, Lusamine. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. The debate between these two, I had to decide who am I more terrified of? Cyrus or Getsis? Who am I more terrified of, Cyrus or Getsis? Dude, it's hard. This is really tough. This is maybe the toughest decision in any PokeMarch Madness I've ever had of all time. There's something about, I'm gonna have to give it to Cyrus, and he's gonna win the entire thing. Sorry. I'm gonna have to give it to Cyrus. He wins the entire thing. There is something about the utter lack of emotion, the utter sociopathy, the lack of care for what happens to any other human being on planet Earth. All he cares about is achieving his goals. He shows even none of the games. I guess Getsis doesn't really either, but Cyrus does not waver at all. There's no twinge of hope. There's no redemption. He is focused on it from beginning to end, and there's something terrifying about that. And he is almost successful. And doesn't this man just go on to like live in the distortion world in Pokemon Platinum? He's a freak. And because of that, he is going to be our #1 villain of our Pokemon villains bracket. Do you guys agree? Let me know in the comments down below. You can also go to this bracket yourself and share it with me on Twitter at JustJershin or in the Discord. The link to that will be in the description below. Check out Yeetus and NSL's videos on this as well. See where they agree. See where they differed. Differed. D-I-F-F-E-R-E-D. Yes, that's a word. Right? That's a word. See where they differed? It doesn't sound like a word now that I'm saying. It's the outro. Move on. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. We'll be back soon with another one. I can't remember what the next bracket is. You'll have to see then. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.